Welcome back to Crime and Prison. Kim Wall was a fearless journalist, known for her passion to uncover stories that often went untold. In August 2017, what began as a routine assignment on board a homemade submarine off the coast of Copenhagen quickly spiraled into one of the most shocking and tragic cases in modern Scandinavian history. This story is about the disappearance of a talented journalist, the gripping investigation that followed, and the legacy she left behind. Join us as we delve into the life of Kim Wall, a story of courage, tragedy, and the relentless pursuit of truth. Kim Wall was born on March 23, 1987, in the small town of Trelleborg, Sweden. She grew up in a supportive and tight-knit family, developing an early interest in writing, storytelling, and exploring different cultures. Her parents encouraged her inquisitive nature, and she was a diligent student. She pursued higher education abroad, earning a bachelor's degree in international relations from the London School of Economics, LSE, and a master's degree in journalism and international affairs from Columbia University in New York. These prestigious institutions equipped her with the skills needed for a career in international journalism. Kim Wall was known for her work as a freelance journalist, often focusing on social, cultural, and political stories from around the world. Her work was published in notable outlets such as the New York Times, The Guardian, Vice, Time, and the South China Morning Post. Her dedication to reporting on global issues earned her respect among her peers. In 2016, she received an award for her article covering the climate and environmental challenges in the Marshall Islands, highlighting the impact of rising sea levels on local communities. Kim Wall's partner was Ole Stab, a Danish designer and filmmaker. The couple met in Copenhagen, Denmark, where they both lived and worked. Ole, a talented designer with experience in film production, supported Kim's dedication to journalism. Kim's adventurous spirit complemented Ole's creative outlook, making them a compatible pair. They were planning to move to Beijing, China, where Kim intended to continue her journalism career and Ole was set to work in the design and film industry. This move was to be a new chapter in their lives, combining their professional ambitions with a shared desire to explore and experience new cultures. On August 10, 2017, Kim and Ole were hosting a farewell party at their apartment in Copenhagen, celebrating their impending move to China. It was during this gathering that Kim received the unexpected invitation from Peter Madsen for the Submarine interview. By the time she met Peter Madsen in 2017, Kim Wall had already established herself as a talented and accomplished journalist, recognized for her ability to tell powerful stories from some of the world's most remote and challenging locations. Peter Madsen contacted Kim Wall after she had initially reached out to him for an interview earlier in 2017. Kim was interested in writing a feature about Madsen's work, particularly focusing on his career as an inventor and his projects involving homemade submarines and rocket building in his ambitious engineering projects. His unconventional achievements caught Kim's attention as a story worth covering. Kim was interested in understanding the mind behind the creations, particularly the UC-3 Nautilus, one of the world's largest privately built submarines. The Submarine interview presented a unique opportunity to get an exclusive and first-hand look at Madsen's work, something that would enhance the authenticity and depth of her story. Kim's decision to accept Madsen's last-minute invitation for a 2-hour interview aboard the submarine was driven by her passion for journalism and her interest in exploring intriguing and unusual stories. Ole was initially hesitant about Kim leaving the party for the interview, given the late hour, but he understood her dedication to her work. Kim assured him that she would only be gone for a couple of hours and would return later that night. Peter Madsen was born on January 12, 1971, in Denmark. Madsen grew up in the small town of Sejrby, located in the western part of Denmark. His parents divorced when he was young, and he was raised primarily by his father, who had a strong influence on his interest in mechanics and invention. As a child, he exhibited a keen interest in science and technology, particularly in rockets and submarines. He often experimented with building small models and tinkering with machinery, showcasing a natural curiosity for complex engineering problems. His father's own interest in engineering encouraged Madsen to explore unconventional projects from a young age. However, their relationship was strained, partly due to his father's strict and authoritarian personality. During his teenage years, Madsen's interest in rockets became more focused, and he started designing and constructing small-scale rocket models. He was largely self-taught, spending time in libraries and workshops, absorbing technical knowledge. After finishing high school, Madsen did not pursue a formal university education in engineering, choosing instead to work on projects independently. His hands-on approach allowed him to develop a reputation as an inventive and eccentric engineer. In the early 2000s, Madsen's passion for innovation led him to collaborate with other Danish enthusiasts, forming groups dedicated to building rockets and submarines. This eventually resulted in the creation of various projects that brought him public recognition in Denmark. Madsen's reputation grew as he became involved in high-profile, ambitious projects, particularly in the field of amateur aerospace and underwater engineering. He was known for his DIY attitude, often pushing the boundaries of conventional engineering. One of his notable early achievements was the successful construction of several home-built submarines, including the UC-3 Nautilus, which was, at the time of its launch, the largest privately built submarine in the world. Kim left the party and biked from her apartment to the harbor, where Peter Madsen's submarine, the UC-3 Nautilus, was docked. This was a common mode of transportation for her, as she often used her bike to navigate around Copenhagen. The harbor was located at Refshaleøen, a former industrial area in Copenhagen that had become a hub for creative projects and workshops. It was also where Madsen often worked on his submarine and other engineering endeavors. Upon arriving at the dock, Kim met Madsen, and they boarded the submarine at approximately 1900 hours local time, UTC+2, for what was meant to be a brief interview while at sea. Ole said that Kim was afraid to go on the trip in a submarine, but that she was also fascinated by people dedicated to something. At about 8:30 p.m. the same night, Kim jokingly texted Ole, "I'm still alive by the way," after which she added that she was going down into the water. "I love you," and Peter Madsen, bought coffee and cookies though, were also amongst the things she said to her boyfriend during that text exchange. Little did either of them know, though, that this would be their last conversation ever. As per Ole, Kim had said that she'd spend maybe 2 hours with Peter before returning home. The submarine never returned to the harbor. When she failed to show up at their door by 1:45 a.m. on August 11, Ole contacted the police that night to report Wall missing. The authorities quickly began efforts to locate her and the submarine. The Danish police launched a search for the UC-3 Nautilus. They contacted the Danish Navy and the Danish Maritime Authority to aid in locating the missing submarine. Both maritime and aerial resources were deployed to search the waters around Copenhagen. The initial search involved helicopters, boats, and nearby vessels that were alerted to look for the submarine. After Ole Staub reported Kim Wall missing at 1:43 on the night of August 10 to 11, 2017, the authorities quickly began efforts to locate her and the submarine. The Danish police launched a search for the UC-3 Nautilus after receiving the report. They contacted the Danish Navy and the Danish Maritime Authority to aid in locating the missing submarine. Both maritime and aerial resources were deployed to search the waters around Copenhagen. The initial search involved helicopters, boats, and nearby vessels that were alerted to look for the submarine. At approximately 10:30 a.m. on August 11, 2017, the submarine was spotted in the waters near the Koge Bay, just south of Copenhagen. It foundered at 11 o'clock. Shortly after being sighted, the submarine sank under mysterious circumstances. Peter Madsen was seen climbing onto the deck and was rescued by a private boat as the submarine went down. Madsen was arrested on August 11 after being rescued from Koge Bay when the Nautilus sank. He was initially charged with negligent manslaughter, as police suspected he had intentionally scuttled the submarine. Madsen was brought ashore safely. Initially, he told rescuers and authorities that he had dropped Kim Wall off safely near the harbor the previous evening, before the submarine began having technical issues. However, there was no evidence to support his claim. As the circumstances surrounding the disappearance seemed suspicious, police arrested Peter Madsen shortly after he was rescued. He was charged with negligent manslaughter as the investigation began, due to Kim Wall still being missing. The rescue team found the sunken submarine, and divers began to inspect the wreckage, searching for any signs of Wall. However, she was not found inside, which raised further concerns about her whereabouts. Over the following days, the police and naval units intensified the search efforts, focusing on the waters where the submarine had been operating. Divers and specialized sonar equipment were deployed to look for any evidence connected to Wall's disappearance. If you were captivated by Kim's story and want more gripping true crime tales, don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. Trust me, you won't want to miss the chilling stories we have coming your way. Click the bell icon to stay notified, because the darkest stories are just getting started. August 21, 2017, a cyclist found a torso washed ashore on a beach south of Copenhagen. DNA testing confirmed it was Kim Wall's. Her head, arms, and legs were missing. Over the following weeks, Danish police found other body parts, including her head and limbs, in plastic bags at the bottom of the sea. They also discovered a saw believed to have been used to dismember her. Peter Madsen was arrested shortly after Wall's body was found. His story changed multiple times during the investigation. First, he claimed she had died accidentally from a hatch cover falling on her head. Later, he admitted to dismembering her but insisted her death was accidental, citing carbon monoxide poisoning while he was on the deck. August 21, 2017, a torso, later confirmed to be Kim Wall's through DNA testing, was discovered washed ashore on a beach near Amager, south of Copenhagen. Danish police responded quickly to the scene and retrieved the torso. Her head, arms, and legs were missing. The state of the body raised serious concerns, suggesting foul play, and the remains were sent for forensic examination. Forensic experts conducted DNA testing on the torso, comparing it to samples provided by Kim Wall's family. The results confirmed that the torso belonged to Kim Wall, the missing journalist last seen aboard Peter Madsen's submarine, the UC-3 Nautilus. The discovery of the torso was a turning point in the investigation, shifting the case from a missing persons search to a confirmed homicide investigation. This discovery was crucial for the police as it contradicted Peter Madsen's earlier claims about Kim Wall's disappearance. He had initially stated that he dropped her off safely near the harbor, but the discovery of her remains disproved this story. Peter Madsen's account changed several times. Initially, he maintained that she had died accidentally, but his inconsistent statements and the emerging evidence led to further scrutiny. He changed his story, stating that she had died in an accident on board, claiming that a heavy hatch had fallen on her head. Following the confirmation that the torso was Kim Wall's, police intensified their search in the waters near where the submarine had been operating, using sonar and divers to look for more evidence. On October 6, 2017, with assistance from cadaver dogs provided by the Swedish police divers discovered 2 plastic bags in Kobe Bay. The bags contained Kim Wall's head, legs, her clothes, and a knife. 6 days later, a saw was found in the water, further adding to the evidence. Later, on November 21 and 29, police divers recovered Wall's arms from the same bay. The case gained significant media attention, both in Denmark and internationally, as the circumstances around Kim Wall's death became a topic of public interest and speculation. As the investigation progressed, additional body parts were found in plastic bags on the seabed, weighted down with metal to keep them submerged. This included her head, arms, and legs, which were located in October 2017, providing more clues about what had happened. With the mounting evidence, Madsen was charged with premeditated murder, indecent handling of a corpse, and sexual assault. The details uncovered during the investigation revealed a calculated and brutal crime. The subsequent trial and conviction revealed the disturbing truth about the events that transpired on the submarine, leading to Madsen's life sentence in April 2018. The autopsy revealed that the body had been deliberately mutilated. The limbs and head had been removed in what appeared to be an attempt to hinder identification and prevent the discovery of evidence. A post-mortem examination found 15 stab wounds, mostly in the groin. Police determined that the torso had been weighted down with a metal object to keep it submerged, but it eventually floated to the surface and washed ashore. Evidence found on the torso indicated that someone had tried to remove identifying features. There were also signs that the dismemberment had been conducted with precision, leading investigators to believe that the actions were deliberate and calculated. Madsen later admitted to disposing of her body at sea after she died in what he described as an onboard accident. He testified during a court hearing on September 5 that Wall's death was caused by the submarine's hatch cover accidentally striking her on the head. The prosecution said that police had found videos on Madsen's computer showing women being murdered, and that witnesses said that Madsen watched videos of decapitation and practiced asphyxiation sex. Prosecutor Jacob Buck-Jepson stated that, although forensic investigations did not detect any of Madsen's DNA on Kim Wall's body, traces of semen were found on underclothing taken from Madsen following his arrest. Madsen maintained that he had not ejaculated in Wall's presence. A post-mortem examination conducted on Kim Wall's head, found a month later, revealed no signs of blunt force trauma and did not determine the cause of death. Madsen then altered his account, admitting to dismembering her body but still denying that he intentionally killed her. He suggested that Wall might have died from poisonous exhaust gases that leaked into the submarine while he was on deck. However, the post-mortem examination of her torso found no evidence of exhaust gases in her lungs. On January 16, 2018, Madsen was charged with premeditated murder, sexual assault and desecration of a corpse. Prosecutors argued that he had planned the crime, bringing tools like a saw, knives, and straps onto the submarine with the intention of torturing and killing Wall. The prosecution accused him of having tortured Wall before killing her by cutting her throat or strangling her. Peter Madsen's trial commenced on March 8, 2018, at the Copenhagen courthouse. The proceedings attracted significant media attention, as the case had already drawn international interest due to its disturbing and unusual nature. Madsen faced multiple charges, including premeditated murder, indecent handling of a corpse, and sexual assault. The prosecution presented extensive forensic evidence and witness testimony, arguing that Madsen had deliberately killed Kim Wall. On April 25, 2018, the court found Madsen guilty on all 3 charges. He was sentenced to life imprisonment, a rare and severe punishment in Denmark, typically reserved for the most serious crimes. In Denmark, life imprisonment typically means at least 16 years in prison, with the possibility of extension. The court concluded that the evidence demonstrated Madsen's actions were premeditated and deliberate, rejecting his defense arguments about Wall's demise being an accident. Madsen appealed the life sentence, seeking a reduction in his punishment. However, on September 26, 2018, the Østre High Court of Eastern Denmark, reviewed the case and upheld the original life sentence. The appeals court agreed with the lower court's assessment, reinforcing the view that Madsen's crimes warranted the harshest sentence available under Danish law. In the years following Peter Madsen's conviction, several notable events unfolded that continued to keep the case in the public eye. In August 2018, just a few months after beginning his life sentence, Madsen was attacked in prison by an 18-year-old fellow inmate. The young prisoner managed to assault Madsen, causing injuries that required medical attention. Madsen was promptly taken to the hospital for treatment and later returned to prison. The attack highlighted the intense scrutiny and animosity Madsen faced from both the public and fellow prisoners, due to the high-profile nature of his crimes. In September 2020, Madsen made a shocking revelation during a Danish documentary titled The Secret Recordings with Peter Madsen. In an interview featured in the documentary, he openly admitted to her demise Kim Wall, something he had consistently denied during his trial. This confession marked the first time Madsen explicitly acknowledged responsibility for her death, though he did not provide specific details or motivations for his actions. The documentary was based on recorded conversations between Madsen and a journalist who had corresponded with him while he was in prison. These recordings provided a rare and chilling insight into Madsen's mindset, and his admission further solidified the narrative that the prosecution had established during his trial. The case continued to have a profound impact on the journalism community and beyond. In honor of Kim Wall's memory, her family and friends established the Kim Wall Memorial Fund, which supports female journalists pursuing stories on underreported topics. The fund seeks to carry on Kim's legacy of fearless and compassionate journalism. Kim Wall's story also sparked discussions in Denmark and internationally about safety protocols for journalists, particularly those working alone or in dangerous situations, and about the treatment of high-profile inmates within the prison system. Madsen's eventual admission of guilt in 2020 did not change his legal status or sentence, as he was already serving a life sentence, but it did bring some closure to those who followed the case, confirming the tragic reality of what happened aboard the submarine. The aftermath of the Kim Wall case remained a topic of media and public interest, underscoring the case's significance in both legal and social contexts. On October 20, 2020, Peter Madsen made a brief but dramatic escape attempt from prison. He managed to threaten a prison employee, believed to be a psychologist, using a pistol-like object. With this threat, he coerced the staff member and made his way out of the prison, wearing what he claimed to be a bomb belt. The incident triggered a rapid response, and a bomb squad was deployed to assess the situation. Madsen was surrounded by police approximately 500 meters, 547 yards, from the prison, and after a tense standoff, he was apprehended without incident and taken back into custody. His escape attempt added another layer to his infamy, underscoring his unpredictable and dangerous nature. In the aftermath of Kim Wall's death, her family and friends focused on preserving her legacy and supporting her dedication to journalism. They established the Kim Wall Memorial Fund, which provides financial support to female reporters who pursue stories of cultural and social significance. The fund honors Kim's commitment to amplifying underrepresented voices and covering global issues. On August 10, 2018, the first anniversary of her murder, a memorial run was held in her memory. Participants from around the world ran or walked a certain distance to honor Kim's life and work, creating a global tribute to her passion and spirit. Kim Wall was also recognized posthumously in journalism circles. In October 2017, she was nominated for the Prix Europa's Outstanding Achievement Award for Journalist of the Year, acknowledging her significant contributions to investigative journalism and storytelling. On November 9, 2018, Kim Wall's parents released a memoir in her honor titled Boken om Kim Wall, Nar Orden tar Slut, English, The Book of Kim Wall, When Words End. This heartfelt account, detailing Kim's life and their experiences following her death, was translated into English in 2020 under the title A Silenced Voice, with translation by Kathy Saranpa. The book aimed to share Kim's story, celebrate her work, and provide a personal perspective on the tragedy. In 2018, Kim's partner, Ole Staab, shared his reflections on the intense media attention surrounding the case in an article published by the Danish newspaper Weekendavisen. He offered insights into his personal journey and the impact of the media coverage during such a difficult period, contributing to the ongoing dialogue about privacy, grief, and the responsibilities of the press. These initiatives and recognitions ensure that Kim Wall's legacy as a brave and dedicated journalist continues, encouraging and inspiring others to follow in her footsteps while honoring her life and work. We have come to the end of this story. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. Thank you for staying with me this far. I need your help, please. If you enjoy my hard work, then like and share this video, so YouTube can recommend it to other users. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, then do it quickly. Click on the notification bell icon. See you again in the next video with another true story. Thank you for supporting me with a subscription.